I'm like still sitting in my chair. I'm sorry, but I'm like so tired from this weekend. Okay, actually, I'll stand up for this. Okay, your department. This is what your business looks like. 6, and maybe a 7. All right. This is your organizational chart. Okay. And guess what? You're right here. You. I started out that way too. Don't worry. All right. You. Right. The goal is to get you out of this and then just be like you. Right. So this is like you. Anybody here have like virtual assistants or anybody doing anything outside? Most of us, like the very beginning, you don't do that, right? Once you get started, then you can start doing that. All right, so these are your departments, right? So this is your office. This is your this is your marketing. This is your acquisitions, right? This is your finance. This is your construction. This is your management. If you have management, like if you're going to be rehab, I mean, if you're going to be holding, and then this is your liquidations, right? Liquidations. If you need to sell it, this is your department. And depending on which track that you go to, then essentially these are the departments. Okay, so if you're wholesaling, then essentially you would have like, it would be like you. It would be like, okay, I'm only going to wholesale. Like that's my rule. I want to wholesale. That's it. That's what I say, right? So then your business would look like, you know, like kind of like this, which is like marketing, market, right? Acquisitions, and then liquidate. And you can have your office if you want your office here too. You can say, oh, I don't want to forget my office, right? This is office, right? And this is you all the way across. All right. And then if you were going to, just rehab, then you would take out the management. All right. And the management. And essentially when you draw your organizational chart out, like when I first got started, basically my coach was like, you need to draw your organizational chart out. And I was like, I do? Why? And he's like, because you're going to manifest that. Right. So essentially that's what you want to do is draw it out. So I drew it out and then I had it like on my wall for many, many years. We moved, and then we sold my office, then we moved to this office. And then I was like, man, I'm done with that. Because then my organizational chart is like kind of all over the place. I took my organizational chart, the very, very first one that I ever made, and I stuck it into my my trunk. Does anybody here have like a trunk that they keep all their like most prized possessions in, like from across? Like I have this trunk, and I just like my most favorite things ever that I've ever done or had or gifts or anything, I'll stick them in this trunk, and then I can hand it over to Lillian when she gets older. And so I put my organizational chart into this trunk. And so she could be getting this big trunk and she could open and be like, what the hell's this thing? And I'll say, that is why you have so much wealth. That organizational chart right there. So anyways, okay, so this is your organizational chart. So your homework until next week is to draw your organizational chart. Create however you want to create it in like, PowerPoint or whatever. You can make it like as boring as possible, as beautiful as possible. And then do me a favor, take a picture of it and post it in the private Facebook group. If you do not have an organizational chart and you are watching this like now or in the future, because this is the course, then you should definitely be drawing your organizational chart and take a picture of it. You post it on your wall so you can look at it and you can manifest your company into whatever you want it to be. Okay. So, okay. So now today, so as you can see, as we went through the 7 weeks, the first week we talked about market, like how to choose your market. So that's not really kind of part of my 6-step system. But then the next week we talked about setting up your office. And last week we talked about marketing. And this week we're talking about putting the deal under contract, which is your acquisitions department. I'm very organized, very systematized, even in my teaching. So it may seem like I'm all over the place, but I'm really kind of organized. All right. Okay. So now we're going to talk about acquisitions. All right. Y'all ready for the good stuff? Let's put some contracts down, right? Let's put some deals under contract under your acquisitions department. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about